I spent the next 9 years running away from God. He called me many times, and many times I ran away. Sometimes we think following Jesus is like some kind of exam we have to pass, like an ACT or an SAT. You know, when it comes to exam time and you try and take as many notes as you can from the slides, or you try and cram as much into your head as possible about who Jesus is. I feel so often we approach discipleship or following Jesus as if primarily it's an endeavour of knowledge, like an intellectual project that unfortunately is head knowledge and not heart knowledge. Jesus said, "Follow me," not just learn some quotes about me. These next 5 days are not about you trying to cram as much head knowledge in about Jesus as possible. Rather, these next days are an opportunity, a chance for you to take time and really encounter Jesus right where you are. A chance to recognize His voice and follow. Have you ever stopped and asked somebody for directions? Well, you probably haven't because you just use your phone. But if you ask somebody and they wind down the window and you tell them where you want to go, they sort of look at you as if you are a little bit deranged or something, or you don't know what you're doing, and they usually let out a sigh and they go, like, as if, you know, you don't have a clue what you're doing. And you ask them where you want to go and they say something really irritating like this. They say something like, "Well, I wouldn't start from here if you're looking to go there." And you think to yourself, well, I have to start here. This is where I am. You Egypt, American translation, Egypt. No, you're not saying this to the person, obviously, but in your mind, you're thinking this. You're thinking, he's an idiot. You know, of course I have to start here. I have to start right where I am. I can wish I was somewhere else, but I have to start right here. And then Jesus enters the scene into Peter's life on a boat, right where he feels as if he is the expert, right where he feels most comfortable. He knows these waters like the back of his hand. He's fished all night. He knows there are no fish there. Verse 5 in the story, it's like, "Okay, Jesus, because you say so, I will let down the nets." Basically, Peter is saying here, yeah, whatever, big guy. Peter has no faith whatsoever for a catch. He's just being polite. In his mind, he's probably saying, who does this wise guy think he is? I know these waters. Like the guy in the car, he's probably thinking, well, Jesus, I wouldn't start from here. And going out a little bit deeper isn't going to make any difference, you idiot. Hebrew translation, idiot, loser. But you know, in his mind, he's thinking, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to happen. But okay, Jesus, I'll go along with it just to be polite. I'll cast over the nets. That's what Peter's thinking as he tosses over his nets. We pick the story up, verse 6 and 7, right through to verse 9. When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Simon Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, "Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man." For he and all his companions were astonished at the catch they had taken. There is no point in pretending or wishing you were somewhere else. Unlike me or you, Peter had no place to run away from Jesus. And Jesus says, I want to start right where you are, right now. Don't pretend you're in a different place or a better place. We start now. Now, I don't know how you got here this week or who brought you or what's going on back home. I don't know your circumstances. In this story, the circumstances Peter finds himself in is he's on his knees. In fact, he's probably flat out on his face amongst tons of smelly fish. And then Jesus, right in that moment, amongst the smelly fish, says, Peter, we start right now. Follow me. Let's come back to our tiles. On one side, I want you to write down some things that you know will distract you this week. So it could be relationships. Now, I want you to be specific. Don't just copy the things I'm writing about. So if it is relationships, what are those relationships, what they look like? Or it could be your reputation. On the other side, what we want you to do is write down things that you know will help you follow Jesus this week. So for instance, are you going to engage this week? And I mean engage with the Bible, engage with the talks, engage with your small groups, engage in the different ways that you know will help you follow. Or maybe it's actually just expecting. Do you really expect God to show up in your life right where you are this week? Do you expect Him to speak through the Word? Do you expect Him to speak through your friends, your youth leaders, the different people you'll be engaging with this week? Do you expect God to show up in your life these next 5 days? So take your time, go ahead, think it through, be specific. Don't just copy me. What is going to distract you this week? And then what is going to help you follow Jesus more closely?